Okay, notes for 8.2, the distribution of the sample proportion. So, first of all, let's talk just a second about proportion. Let's say that we had, we were going to do a survey on all of the seniors at Springtown High School. Now, I know you guys all know because you have your transcript and it's on there. I don't know how many of you there are, but let's just say, because it's easy, let's say there's 200, exactly 200 of you. And I was going to do a survey on how many of the seniors enjoyed online learning. If that survey came back and it was, let's just say, I'm just going to write this real quick up here. Let's just say that of the 200 students, that 126 said that they enjoyed online learning, 126 out of 200. And yes, that simplifies, but that would be considered your population proportion because this is the entire population of Springtown seniors. So that's when we're saying that we are talking about the sample proportion, the distribution of the sample proportion, these are the proportions that we're talking about. However, that's a population proportion, so we're talking about a sample. Now, in the case of a population like Springtown seniors, that's a population we can actually get the information from. But realistically, to actually get information from an entire population is very difficult. So most of the time we use a sample. So suppose that the random, so this is the definition of the sample proportion. Suppose that a random sample of size n is, of course, and it's a lowercase n because it's a sample, is obtained from a population in which each individual either does or does not have a certain characteristic. So, for example, they do enjoy online learning or they do not. They do write with their right hand or they do not. They do. So you get the point. The sample proportion is denoted with this symbol, and we call it p hat. P hat is given by x over n, where x is the number of individuals in the sample, and the sample proportion, p hat, is a statistic that estimates the population proportion. So when the population is so large that we cannot possibly get the information from everyone in the population, we take a sample and we find the proportion using that, and that sample is p hat. So let's look at example number 1. Computing a sample proportion. The Harris poll conducted a survey of 1,200 adult Americans who vacation during the summer and asked whether the individuals plan to work while on summer vacation. Of those surveyed, 552 indicated that they plan to work while on vacation. Find the sample proportion of individuals surveyed who plan to work while on their summer vacation. So this is a sample because it's 1,200 adult Americans, because it would be impossible to survey the entire American adult population. So instead, they just surveyed 1,200 of them. So that makes this a sample. So that means because of that I'm going to get a sample proportion. So I'm going to do p hat. P hat is going to be 552 over 1,200. And yes, you should simplify that. The proportion can be left as a fraction, but a lot of times in statistics, we actually like to use the decimals. I personally don't like to use the decimals, but statisticians like to use the decimals. So let's do that. Let me show you my calculator. All right, so we'll just do 552 divided by 1,200. Oh, really? 552 divided by 1,200. Okay. 552 divided by, really, y'all? There we go. Divided by 1,200. I don't know what's wrong with me. All right. So I get p hat is 0.46. And that is considered your sample proportion. So that's all for this video.